Hey man, I do what I do.
We're talking about mutilations. We're not just talking about corruption of government. That's somebody greedy of your own group that decides that he's going to put his own needs before everybody else. But go ahead.
Corruption is. Go to certain places in JA or certain places in Africa where it's like, yo, the government is like, bro, I had a conversation.
That's a you problem. See, that's a cultural problem. You got corrupt leaders. What does that say about the people who voted for the corrupt?
With somebody who told me he came from Eritrea and how nobody can leave Eritrea.
Yeah, no, you can't. You can't. It's hard.
They had to, like, the man said I had to walk for 3 days, no food, to get to South Sudan.
With Black America.
Hey yo, what's good, y'all? So if you go back and watch his full video, that creator, he's talking about the relationship between Black Americans and people from Africa. And he's talking about how influential African Americans were on African culture where he's from. Like, basically, he's talking about how African Americans had a strong influence on the culture of his particular country on the African continent.
On all of these
folks. That, like, when he was growing up in his country.
This is where the jealousy comes from. All my FBA family, these folk grow up idolizing us. And then they got the nerve to come over here and tell us the same culture that they mimic and idolize doesn't exist. Just straight up disrespect. Go ahead.
People in his country, Africans in his country, were obsessed with Black Americans. And like that video kind of made me smile a little bit. Because he said he basically was talking about how influential Black Americans were. Shout out to Penny Ford. What's up, baby? In his country, they copy all the trends that Black Americans do. They mimic everything Black Americans do. Like, they were extremely obsessed with us. It just really made me think about how
extremely obsessed with us.
Y'all know how, like, when people from Africa come to the United States, right?
And
they, you know, a lot of African immigrants do come here and dog Black Americans. Like, they trap.
You hear what he's saying? I'm not the only one saying this. And you wonder why Black folk are not rushing out to stop these Africans and Haitians from being deported. Why we're not putting ourselves out there. Somebody type resting in the chat room. We are resting. Go ahead.
Trash talk is so bad. And when we bring up the fact that people from Africa act like they don't like Black Americans,
they do.
One thing that they always try to throw in our face is, oh, well, y'all called us African booty scratchers in elementary school. And
somebody type African booty scratcher in the chat room. Somebody type, I didn't even know any Africans when I was in elementary school. But we're going to deal with that. We're going to talk about bullying. We're going to talk about teasing. We are going to give these people a dissertation, an exegesis on foundational Black American culture, so we can end this once and for all, so we can explain to them that, number one, those were children doing that to you. Number two, it was there for a reason and a purpose. We were trying to help y'all, calling you an African booty scratcher. And I'm going to say that word a couple more times today. All right? Praise God. Go ahead, sir. Finish,
looking at them like, wow, that's so petty. Like, you don't like Black Americans as an adult because African Americans, you know, picked on you in elementary school. Now, stay with me.
Maybe you just don't like foundational Black Americans, and that's just the reason that you hold on to. Maybe, as the young lady said, you grew up in a household where your parents didn't like foundational Black Americans or Black Americans, and you just say, yeah, they call me an African booty scratcher. So even though I'm 45, that hurt. You just holding on to it. Because y'all seem to love white folk, and they call you worse than that. Matter of fact, they said you live in a shithole country, and you're still running over here trying to stay. I ain't saying, okay? Mr. White Man himself, DJ Trump said it about you, and y'all ain't mad at them. Why you mad at Black folk? We eat your little oxtails and such. But go ahead, sir. Go ahead, little brother. Go ahead.
Like, that's legit. So this man was talking about how obsessed people in this country are with Black Americans. So let's say, imagine you grew up in a country in Africa, and you grew up in a country where there's nothing but Black people around you. But a lot of the Black people around you live in, like, oppressive situations where, like, the Europeans have come and they have scrambled for Africa, and what they left behind was squabbage that the people are still fighting to get through. And you turn on your TV and you see all of this black greatness on TV
All
from
this
these
black
black people
great.
who are
That,
from
I just
America.
like the way that sounds. Is it still black? My Black History Month numbers are gonna be off the chain. Somebody type black greatness in the chat room. We've been talking about black greatness every day on my broadcast for the past 22 days. I know y'all noticed that I've been sneaking in a lot of facts and history in this mess that we talk about. Y'all learned about. Don't thank me now. Don't thank me now. But I know that y'all have learned about the transatlantic slave trade. You all have learned about some of the things that people have had to deal with as far as black women having to cut their hair or keep their hair covered. Y'all have learned a lot about Black America. I've been sneaking it in on y'all, between the mess and the conflict. Y'all been learning something. But anyway, I'm going to let the young brother go ahead and speak. He got a real good little gray hair, too. That's cool. I don't want all that hair on my head, but I like his hairline. Go ahead. Matter of fact, go ahead.
You see them on your television, you hear them on your radio, you follow all of their trends, you follow all of their styles, and then you learn about them in history books. And then you learn how these black Americans are connected to you because of the transatlantic slave trade. We are the descendants of the warriors who got taken away. And say you view these black Americans almost like your long lost cousins, these great, amazing people you see on TV. And then America is this great, amazing country where black people can go and succeed.
That's right.
America is this great country where black Americans fought for people to have rights and privileges and opportunities. Then you come to the United States of America like as a child, and your very first time interacting with black Americans, your very first time, interacting with these people that you like, that you view them as like the people you see on TV. And you come to America as a child and you're interacting with these people in America, these African Americans that you see on television. They're so cool, they're so trendy, they're so stylish, they're so influential. And it's your first time interacting with them. And you don't get nothing that resembles love.
No, you get called the African booty scratcher because kids are mean. That's why. You think they was nice to each? We wasn't nice to each other. You could get capped, roasted. That's what we do, and it's part of the culture, sir. But go ahead, young brother. Go ahead. You gonna get roasted out here, and that's why we great. Okay, we got thick skin, and we don't take no for an answer. You ain't gonna fade me. I'm gonna dig into that later. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, young brother. Go ahead.
They make fun of you because you're different.
They make fun of you because kids are mean.
African booty scratcher.
You are African booty scratcher.
The treatment that you receive from them is not love.
Can we order African booty scratchers on Amazon? Is that really a thing? What is an African booty scratcher? Is that as opposed to a European booty scratcher? Or I guess a Japanese booty scratcher? Is that a thing? Like, who thought that up? I want y'all to look in the Urban Dictionary and tell me where that term emanated. I mean, because that has stuck with them for 50 years. You hear me? They have not ever forgot being referred to as African. Now, the white man call you N-word, monkeys, and all that stuff, but the African booty scratcher, oh my gosh, shout out to Sir Gatekeeper. That apparently has caused some traumatic DNA change in you. Call that. But go ahead.
It's like you spend most of your primary school days being picked on, and bullied by black Americans.
We bully everybody. Okay, I'm Black American and I got bullied. You gotta learn how to fight. Gotta learn how to cap back. That's part of the culture, baby. That's part of the culture. Somebody saying boys in the hood is where African booty scratch get. No, sir, I can promise you, okay, from my own personal experience growing up in South Central Los Angeles, that African booty scratcher predated the movie Boys in the Hood. I distinctly recall it being used on numerous occasions in my peripheral vision and within earshot. Okay, now I was not one to hurl such racial epithet at others from the diaspora. However, I have definitely seen it being put to use in my vicinity. So I can absolutely certainly that it predates that movie, which came out in the early 90s, sir. But we'll continue forth with this young brother to continue to speak.
From Africa. Now, we know that is a problem with colonization. We know that is a colonized mindset that causes black American children to pick on kids who are from Africa, right?
It is not a colonized mindset, brother. It is something that was an adaptation that we needed so that we can get through the Jim Crow South when the white folks was around there calling us N-words and monkeys and all that sort of stuff, and you didn't overreact to it. Okay, it's something that we did to toughen the skin. But I'm gonna dig into that deeper. Go ahead, finish, young brother. You on the roll. Somebody type, let him cook in the chat room.
But imagine the hurt that you would
The
experience.
hurt, you hurt.
Imagine the hurt that you would feel when you grew up in a country where you grew up obsessed with Black Americans and Black American culture, and then you come to the United States of America, this land of opportunity, and your first time interacting with these people that you grew up being.
These people, I like that. They call me African booty scratcher. Yo.
They're bullying you and picking on you, and you deal with this all of your primary school years. You deal with this all the way through high school until you become an adult. When Black Americans have finally started decolonizing themselves, and we're saying, "Oh, we all need to get along." You know, we've all.
We ain't tell y'all we need to get along with nobody. We ain't trying to get along with y'all. We don't care what you do. But go ahead.
And then they're talking to you about how you don't like Black Americans, and you say, "Well, you guys call us African booty scratchers."
You call us African booty scratchers. Well, y'all sold us into slavery. I'm just saying that we compare the equities. You know, y'all did sell us into slavery for like 500 years. So what would you rather be? Sold as a slave, disassociated from your language, your religion, your spirituality, your people, or be called the African booty scratcher?
Subscribe to my guy, Uncle D. Tell him Big Bad sent you.